This channel is sponsored by All Things Aquatic, a fast-growing online store for all your reefing needs. We are offering £5 off every order of £100 plus and free next day delivery. Just click on the link in the description below or use discount code Nathan5. Okay reefers, so it's been about a month now since I done my last upload. Thought I'd just leave it a little bit longer so you can see the difference and what the changes I've made. Now if you follow the videos, you'll know that a couple of months ago I decided to come off of Tropic Marine and go back to what I know works to run a reef, and that is with Red Sea. So we switched over to back to Red Sea blue bucket salt, and we decided to go back on with the Red Sea Reef Foundation with the Red Sea Reef recipe, which I'll go into later on in the video. But the first month transitioned over to that, and within weeks, if you look back on my videos, I noticed that a difference in the system was a lot more happier, corals were happier. Now we're another month in now, so we're 2 months in now, and I've decided to go put the tank into sort of high growth mode, so using Red Sea's recipe for higher alkalinity. Again, I'll go into that later. And do you know what, I couldn't be happier. The tank is really turning round. It's amazing really. I've done this this reefing lark for a long time, many years, and the last sort of 4 times I've used the Red Sea recipe with Red Sea salt and Red Sea Reef Foundation and all the trace elements, and every time it really does work. But this tank has been sort of like an experiment tank really, to start, you know, trialing different methods to see how we get on. But you know, we've gone back to Red Sea and it's proven again to really work. The tank, so it's only been a couple of months we've gone back over to Red Sea, and it's just, everything is growing and the colour's good. You know, I'm just saying, I'm really happy. Hopefully this is going to come out well, this video. The colour's not great because we've got quite high whites at the moment. I've got a filter on the phone, but I just want to zoom in on everything so I've got a track record really of how things are growing, because things are really starting to kick off now. The tank's a year in, and so we'll start with stylo 4 at the top, purple stylo. It's just, the growth is really good, and everything's colouring up so well. I'm going to go into exactly what I'm dosing and whatnot shortly, but I just want to get a close-up of everything. Even the acros that weren't doing anything for a whole year, literally just not growing, you know, browned out colour, really coloured up and really started to sprout new growth. So obviously the GSP, the back wall is really spreading, it's nearly to the top, so another, I'd say a month, that whole overflow would be covered. Pulse core I've put up here so I can keep control of it. But yeah, the SPS, and really this green hystrix here was really paled out, so it's not really showing well on video, but it is really sort of colouring out a real nice electric green. So it looks a bit brown in the video, but to the naked eye it's really sort of a luminous green. All the LPS really happy. The Duncan here, the Candy Cane sprouting new, sort of splitting new heads. The Green Hammer, the Frog Spawn, the Blasto down here, Copper Band, move out of the way. Yeah, so all the softies are doing really well, and my plate, my Montipora plate, the green and the red here, is really erupting. Even the purple, tiny little fingernail worth of the purple plate is really growing now and encrusting. Yeah, really happy with everything. So the tank is just looking so good. I've got the parameters nailed right down, sticking to the Red Sea's recipe. I'm just going to show you that shortly. But down in the sump, excuse the mess. This is a very functional sump, but it's not the prettiest. We've got a filter sock back on now because we've reducing the amount of Nopox we're using. It was on a very high dose because the nutrients in this tank were very high, but thanks to Nopox it's sorted out. But I'm on a lower dose now, which has enabled me to put the filter stop back on. It doesn't clog every 2 or 3 hours. So yeah, Red Sea, we're back on. So these are the foundation elements, A, B and C, the alkalinity, calcium and magnesium. Our Nopox, nutrient control. Our Reef Energy for coral nutrition. We're using a little bit of Vibrant every week. And these are the coral colours, A, B, C, D trace elements. Okay, so just bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just going to show you on the computer quickly. So I just want to show you, this is just go onto Red Sea's website, and all you have to do is, if you scroll and go to here, get your tank's recipe. Now guys, trust me, I've been doing this a long time now, and every time this works for me, and I didn't know this. Red Sea do a really good tool here on their website. It makes it so much simpler. If you just go to here, get your tank's recipe, click that, and it brings up you 4 options here. So you just select which type of tank you've got or what you're keeping. So you've got soft only, soft corals. You've got a mixed reef here with a variety of soft LPS and sort of 25% SPS corals. SPS dominant, which is my tank. It's 50% of the tank is SPS corals, and you've got some soft and LPS there, or you've got a frag tank here on the end. So obviously you just select what tank you've got. So we're going to select this, select. Now you've got 3 options now of good growth rate but exceptional coloration, or great growth rate, great coloration, or the one that I'm going for, which I've just switched the tank over to now, sort of roughly a couple of weeks ago, sort of transitioning over to is this one, exceptional growth rate and good coloration. Now I've done this option before with really good results. So you just select that, obviously United Kingdom or wherever you're from, select that, put in the actual litres of your tank, by the time you've taken into consideration your rockscaping, etc. So this tank's like 250 litres actual water volume, and just click get your recipe. It works it out, and it says here's your recipe for a 250 litre SPS dominant system. They recommend a salinity of 35, calcium of 465, magnesium 1390, alkalinity at 12, nitrate 2, phosphate 0.1. And then if you scroll down, it tells you what salt to use. So Red Sea Coral Pro, that's what we're using. That's the salt I've always used, really. Just such good success with it. And it's recommending 10% water change every week. Now I'm actually doing 25% water change a week. These are all just rough guidelines. So these parameters, it says here, as long as you roughly get them to that. I've actually nailed these parameters exactly. At the moment on my tank, we're running 35.5 salinity, calcium's at 465, magnesium's at 1400, alkalinity is at 11.8, nitrates at 2, my phosphate's at 0.09, so virtually 0.1. So this is what they say dose of each element. Now obviously it will vary. I'm very, very close to this. Calcium I'm actually dosing 12 ml a day. Alkalinity I'm doing 36 ml a day. And the magnesium 4 ml a day. I'm not actually dosing any magnesium because my magnesium's at the right level, 1400. I just keep an eye on it, and every week. And if it starts to drop, I should probably put the dose on, or just sort of manually dose a little bit to keep it up. Some tanks don't consume much magnesium at all, but this is sort of like just a guideline, really. These two, calcium alkalinity, really important. Don't be fooled into thinking, oh, my alkalinity needs boosting up, my calcium's fine, so I just dose alkalinity. No, you should dose them at this ratio equally, because one affects the other. So you don't want to skew your tank into down a road where it's just goes out of whack. So that's really important. If you're dosing alkalinity, you must dose the calcium as well, even if your calcium level's okay. Trace elements, A, B, C, D. I'm doing about 1.1 mil a day, so very close to that. NOPOX, it's saying average of 2.5 mil daily. I'm actually doing 6 mil a day, but I do have quite a high bio load. But I find I've just just fine-tuned it to, I was on 12 mil a day, and I've just dialed it down as my nutrients has come down, and I find that a sort of 5-6 mil a day keeps my nutrients bang what it says up here, sort of like 2 nitrate and 0.1 phosphate. The next one is Reef Energy Plus. Obviously all your goodness for your corals, your coral nutrition, your carbohydrates, amino acids, fatty acids and vitamins. Huge difference from going over to this, feeding the tank with this. After a couple of weeks of using it, you really start seeing the colours come out and the polyp extension. Just keep an eye obviously on your nutrients, but if you're using NOPOX, that should sort it out. 20 mil a day, that's exactly what I'm doing. Sometimes I target feed that. If I can't be bothered, I just chuck the 20 mil straight in the morning. So yeah, brilliant tool, simple, easy to use. Just go onto Red Sea's website and put in your recipe, and guys, trust me, it really does work. I've done it so many times now. This tank, I thought I'd just have an experiment to see, you know, how we could get on with other products, but just didn't work out. I should have known better, really, just to stick with what I know. That's the Red Sea formula. We just, you know, it's only been a couple of months, and I foresee over the next few months this tank just really erupts. Now I'm really happy because I'm now at a stage where I would be happy to purchase coral for this tank, you know, my barley slime and stuff like that I want, because if you follow the videos, you'll know that none of the corals in here I've purchased, they've just been given to me, a lot of them, and a lot of the corals come over from my previous system. Just not had the confidence really to put anything in this tank, in the mind that, you know, probably would lose it because the tank just wasn't right. It's been doing this a long time, and you just know when things are just not quite on point, but now they are, thanks to Red Sea. So just wanted to update you with what's been going on. The water's crystal clear, by the way, really cleared nicely, not running any UV sterilizer. I'm not using any raw phosphate media at all. I'm just using Red Sea's Reef Spec Carbon, just a bag of that in the sump, and it does the trick. Water is really clear. I wanted to keep this system very basic. We're trying to run a successful reef as sort of low tech as possible, really, with sort of, you know, basic sump, just a filter sock and a skimmer, some biological, with no reactors. And it's working. It is working. So until next time, I'll wrap the video up. If you're new to the channel, obviously subscribe, hit the thumbs up, guys, or thumbs down. Any comments you've got, put them in the box below. I try and reply to everybody's comment. Yeah, and I'll catch you in the next one. This channel is sponsored by All Things Aquatic, a fast-growing online store for all your reefing needs. We are offering £5 off every order of £100 plus and free next day delivery. Just click on the link in the description below or use discount code Nathan5.